Got an announcement this week. So we're about to make our very first public appearance and do our first live episode. And we are so excited about that. It is going to be on November 8th at Swing Spot Baseball on Roush Drive in Plain City, Ohio. Our friend Keith Vonderhaar, who we met at a local tournament and been working with him, built his website, helped him with some marketing. He's going to be opening a brand new facility, and it is fantastic. I have toured it myself, and it is first class. We've got great machines. He's even got an iron mic. He's got hit tracks. He's got all that new stuff. He's got the nicest turf I've ever seen. It's a 2,800 square foot facility. And it's beautiful. They're going to have lessons and training, individual rentals, team rentals, the whole shooting match. And he's kicking it off on November 8th. And we're going to be there live to do an episode of the Complete Game podcast. And we're so excited about making that happen. The event starts at 10 a.m. The podcast is at 11. And then they're going to have food trucks there in the afternoon. I know Schmidt Sausage is going to be there and a handful of other folks. So it's going to be a great event. And so we would hope that you guys will come and join us. You're going to get to interact, ask questions, talk to the guys. After we're done with the episode, they're going to stick around and spend some time. It's going to be fantastic. If you've ever been involved with youth baseball and you want to know anything about youth baseball, high school baseball, college baseball, stick around and come talk to Rick. This guy knows more about college baseball than anybody I know. And he's going to be there talking. George is going to be there. If you ever wanted to meet a member of the Big Red Machine, this is your opportunity. And you cannot go wrong. I'm telling you, we've done a full season with this guy, and he's just impressed me every time I turn around. He's been a dear friend, and I really enjoyed spending time with him. I know you will too. And you know what? If you play your cards right, George is known to sign things. So come by and check it out. Come meet George and talk about it. Ask your questions and have a good time. Ethan's going to have a table there from Glovehound. If you've got a glove that needs some work, or you got a glove you got some questions about, you want to come by and just talk about gloves and collecting, there's all kinds of things to do there at the Glovehound table. We're also announcing that he's going to be releasing a new line of leather goods this year in cooperation with Selbridge Leather Goods. So there'll be some new things there on the table for you to check out, maybe take home with you. So come by, talk to us. The address is 8435 Roush Drive, Plain City, Ohio, November 8th. We hope to see you there. Welcome to the Complete Game Podcast, where we're all about baseball with Ethan Dungan, owner of Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop, Rick Finley, founder of MD&I Baseball Academy, and the creator of George Foster Baseball, the MVP himself, Reds Hall of Famer George Foster. I'm your host, Greg Dungan. Now let's talk baseball. All right, welcome back. Episode 19. We're going to continue our series on offensive objectives. Today, we're going to talk about becoming a hitter with options. And what we mean by a hitter with options is the ability to do any number of things when you come to the plate that the team might need. So the idea that if the team, whatever the situation is that you're in, if the team needs a bunt, you can put one down. If the team needs somebody to hit into a hit and run, put it in a gap, do what you need to do, give me a long fly ball so we can tag up, get a guy in. You know, this is being a hitter with options today. So we're going to talk about several different aspects of that. And we're going to start with naming 5 skills that enable a hitter to effectively move runners on base ahead of him. So it's kind of a tricky thing this week. We're going to focus on moving runners this week, but not necessarily scoring runners. That's going to be next week. Oh. So this is about moving runners into scoring position and maybe from second to third into deeper scoring position. But we're kind of trying to break it down real tight. So moving runners. So things that came to mind, I'm just going to put these out there and we're going to discuss them today rather than just everybody naming things.
Oh, man.
So skills that could enable you to effectively move runners. The most effective way to move runners is probably George's favorite way to move runners.
Yeah, move them all the way around the base.
Move them all the way around. Being able to hit for power.
Hit it out of the ballpark. Give a souvenir. Everybody have it.
Nothing moves runners like moving them all the way around. Okay, but then other aspects of hitting for power, though, George, being able to pull it deep or hit it deep to the other side.
Gap shots.
But I was going to say the one that I was very effective is bunting. I was known for my bunting. No, I
didn't know that.
You looked at me like, what? I was 2 for 2 bunting.
Oh man, that's 1,000.
One was a line drive to third base and I bunted. And the other was actually I got a sacrifice bunt. And I forgot to run, but it didn't really matter. I was just so amazed.
Stunned.
I was amazed that I did it. Did anyone get this on video? Oh, no video at that time. But it was exciting.
Oh my gosh.
The other thing would be just to be able to hit for contact, just to be
that
what
was
we
the
need.
number one.
What we need is a ball in play.
Yeah.
Let's
I see
talk
so
about
many
that.
guys strike out.
Yeah. Shorten your swing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the important. What are some thoughts on that? Like, we talk about this all the time. We get frustrated when we've got a guy on, we need to, or multiple guys on. We got to get them moved, and people go up there and strike out. Is it what causes that? How do you fix that? Is it a different
it's the
approach?
mindset.
Yep, it's the
You got to work
mindset,
on it
man.
in spring training.
Yes.
So to get good in become better in anything, you got to practice. Practice the correct way. You can't do it haphazardly. Go up there and try to bunt one time. A lot of guys go up there purposely mess up the bunt because they really don't want to bunt. But in spring training, because teams look at Milwaukee, I was listening to Pat Murphy last night, how that do the small things. The small things make a big difference. And you had Vaughn, who hits for power, bunting on a squeeze play. Because it's a surprise. Nobody's thinking it's going to happen. But to become a better hitter, I always have the kids bunt. But then kids was like, well, I'm batting fourth. I said, you may not be batting fourth as you get higher in your career.
Yeah.
So learn how to do it, not only the bunt, but learn how to hit because you're going to see the ball hit the bat in bunting.
I agree.
And so you be able to see the ball better and then get into physics, the angle. The angle of the bat is going to indicate, because when bunting, you have a certain angle, have that same angle when you're swinging the bat. But a lot of guys is trying to do like a George Foster, hit the ball out of the ballpark, and how many are going to do that? But the thing is, like I said earlier, making contact. But you got to do that in spring training and batting practice because it's going to be important in the game.
And when we talk about making contact, are we talking about just all I want is the bat to touch the ball and just anything to happen? Or is there like, I want to make contact with a specific goal in mind?
With 2 strikes, in a sense, you want to just put it in play wherever on the ground and play on the ground. But up to 2 strikes, you can try to control where you want to hit it.
Yeah.
So a man on second base, no outs, you want to hit the ball to the right side. In a sense, you're sacrificing yourself for the good of the team. And I saw Riley, who's with Atlanta, power hitter, he hit the ball to the right side. So learning batting practice, how to do that. And some say the easiest one to hit to the right side is the ball that's outside.
Yes.
For me, the easiest one that's inside, because I want to keep my hands inside, same as in hitting. And that ball, now the angle of the bat is going to have the ball go that way. And just keep the knob, going towards third base. But a lot of guys, that knob, the barrel's leading.
Yes.
But intentionally do that. And a lot of guys felt, I made an out, but it was a productive out.
Sure.
And now the coaches or captain of the team, hey, that's a good play. Because they're thinking, I didn't do the job. You did a great job.
Yeah, well, we talked about that before. Like, if you're going to go up there and strike out, then go out and get out some different way. It doesn't really matter. At least make the out count.
You got to be a high on the list of the other team being the MVP for them.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about, I'm going to go up there and when you were talking about 2 strikes. So you go up there, you got nothing on you. Yeah, the greatest thing would be to hit one where you want to put it. Okay,
Yeah.
and really lay into one. But as the count goes on, you got to you got to think about.
You got to be more defensive then, but still get an idea. You don't take a full swing or you don't have to take a cut like you don't have no strikes on you.
Right.
But the same as in hitting. Good hitting is for a right-hander from left, center, over. So now the same thing. Forget about the third baseman when you're bunting or hitting. Just try to bunt it to the right side to the second baseman. And like Frito for the Reds, he had 11 base hit bunts, and that's leading the major league. I said that's great, but he should have doubled that. You can bunt your way to 300 with the speed that he has. But same in his case, he started to bunt and man on third base. They didn't get the guy from third to home. They didn't get him. So put the ball in play. You can create a lot of different options.
Well, yeah, because we talked about last week the different ways to get on base. Several of those are possible when you put the ball in play. You could have an error. You could have a defensive indifference. You could
talk
have
about creating chaos.
Yeah. Make something happen. We've talked before, especially in youth baseball, the team that makes the fewer mistakes usually wins the game.
Right.
So put it in play. Give them an opportunity to mess up. Because if you just go up there and strike out, they didn't get the opportunity to mess up and help you.
Yeah. Right.
So put it in play and let them, give them the chance to be on your team and help you out.
Yeah,
and get
I
on
had
base.
so many complaints in the beginning with my guys in the batting practice. They said, Coach, when are we going to hit? When are we going to hit? I said, pretty soon. We're not going to get dessert yet. I want you to work on bunting. I don't want to bunt. Okay. If you want to be a team player, learn how to bunt. Then that win them over. So I always try to pick guys with great speed, or not great speed, but good speed, and put the ball, because you just bunt the ball and run. They got to catch the ball, throw it, and catch it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times those infielders are not prepared to make a good throw.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is it brings the threat of bunt. We've seen this before. Can move people in or out and create those
it changed
gaps.
that defense.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen plenty of old games where Pete was a master at that.
Oh, yeah.
He would go up there and show bunt and move everybody in and just put it over their head and drop it in the gap.
Remind them, I may bunt here. Oh, yeah. I had Mike Schmidt. I said, I'm going to bunt. He said, go ahead. He said, I don't want to have to visit the dentist if I'm coming up on you.
Well, you got to think also when it comes to bunting, and that's the next thing here is bunting. When it comes to bunting, you don't ever bunt unless there's a need for it. It's one of those things that no one goes up there and bunts for fun. Okay, if you're being asked to bunt, if the coach is a
special sacrifice.
Yeah, coach puts that bunt sign on. It's because you need one. It's because it's a clutch thing that needs to happen right now. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go up here today. I got no strikes on me. I'm going to I could swing away. I could do it. I think I'll bunt. I mean, it's not the thing. There's always a strategic reason.
The situation going to dictate it, but a guy like, once again, a Frito is that you're bunting to get on. That's a base hit, get on base and steal the base, so you can create a lot of chaos on the bases. Another guy is a guy who's a power hitter. You lead, say Marte is 5-0 or so. You want him to still swing the bat, but it doesn't call for a bunt in that situation. You give it in a sense.
Mm-hmm. We kind of strategically built our team on how to handle the bat. Okay, that's from starting with bunting, hit and run, and then guys that can drive the ball. So their strengths and weaknesses. And so from a bunting standpoint, strategically, we taught kids how to sacrifice, okay, moving runners over, how to drag bunt. Okay, bunting for a hit, then how to push bunt. Okay, usually if you got a guy on first base, man, we might work on push button or whatever base it might be. We work on push button, and usually if you're righty, we want to push it towards. We call it a Bermuda Triangle. That's you got your first baseman, your second baseman, your pitcher right here. So we want to push it up through there. So now somebody's going to have to make a decision. If you got your first baseman holding, if you push it to the right side of him, guess what? You might have a chance of beating it out. But if not, then at least the runner gets to second, and then he can round it and see if he can get to third. And then we've got suicide or a squeeze. And so one of the things, and also you can utilize these two things we utilized it. If we trying to put pressure on the defense, or if guys are back, corners are back, then we're going to utilize that drag bunt, push bunt, or whatever, or sacrifice. Or I like to run a lot of squeeze plays. And the third one is that when everybody's trying to kill the ball, especially if you got a pitcher that can't break a pane of glass, then that's where the bunt comes in. Everybody, and we've done that before, everybody hitting pop-ups. So guess what? Hey, you better put that bunt down, man. Our team had speed and things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the idea of having the skill of learning to bunt is one of those things that
It's very important.
very important, because if you're in a situation where the coach says, all right, in order to win this game, what we need right here is a squeeze, but you're up to plate and he looks and he goes, I have no faith that kid can bunt.
Right.
Then he can't use that
Right.
tool in the toolbox. So by
You run out of options.
by having the options and being able to do the different things, he'll be like, okay. Or you may find yourself pinch hit for because he
Yes.
knows you can't do it.
Yes.
And he's going to put somebody in there that he has faith can get the job done.
That's what's good about the younger kids. You have that reentry. So you can bunt for that guy,
Right.
and then he come back later.
Sure.
But that's the same thing. You have the challenge. You don't have one challenge in Major League Ball. You got to make sure that one challenge count. If a play happens early in the game, don't use it then. But being able to use it at the right time, like say bringing an arm wrister off the bench to bunt for what they say in your youth baseball, because his reentry can get the guy back into the game.
But there's certain other things that I like bunting for a base hit. I asked the kid, I said, what dictate which player you're going to bunt to, first or third? And in the
There you
beginning,
go.
like, I don't know. I said, well, whoever's back.
Yes.
Whatever player's back, you're going to try to bunt to that person because he's farther away.
Because he further, yeah.
And then in squeeze play, I said, you want to bunt it number one on the ground, but where do you bunt it on squeeze? A lot of them try to be too particular. I'm going to bunt it to third or bunt it to first. So you don't have another chance. I said, bunt the ball back to the pitcher on the ground. Because now if it doesn't go back to the pitcher, it's still going to be fair.
Margin of error.
Right,
Is,
margin of
Yes.
error.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I like that.
Because you only get a shot to show that bunt so many times.
Right.
Before the next time they're going to be ready for it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like
makes
that.
sense. That makes sense. What would you consider the keys to what are the secrets to getting a drag versus a push and making that happen?
As for it's footwork.
Yes.
And I see guys do it.
angle.
I mean, Rod Carew was the best at it. See, a guy who's right-handed, a lot of times they're taking too many steps in the batter's box. It just drops
Drop
back,
step,
drops
and get
back,
angle.
and get a pitch that it's a strike, not just bunt at anything.
Right.
So don't be concerned about rushing it. So, but as that pitcher's foot lands, get ready.
Yeah.
And for a lefty, it's that the left foot has to come on the inside part of the batter's box. So now you have a chance to push it or drag it.
Or drag it. Yeah.
And people say, how do you know about bunting? No, but I'm talking to Rod Carew and Ken Griffey Sr., those guys, and watching those guys. And they do it in batting practice. and they get a machine and just feed them so they can get that feel.
One of the things on a lefty, drag bunt. So I wish I could show you how to drag, man, right here. I don't have no way. But I want to lean into my back leg so I can stay inside the ball, and also I want to bunt it down to the ground because I don't want to pop it up.
Oh, man.
On a drag bunt, it's more of a crossover down the first. On a drag, it's more of a cross from a left side. On the left side, okay. On the left side again, I'm gonna stay on my backside. Boom, get it down to third base if I can. Especially if I got a man on second base and third baseman, I want to bunt it down to third because guess what? He ain't going to turn around and try to get the guy out at third. You want him to throw over to first base, okay? On a drag bunt, I always tell our guys, if you can, look middle in because that's the easier one, and you keep your barrel out front and your knob closer to your hip when you do it. Okay.
Well, I think what you just mentioned and what you had touched on a second ago is pitch selection, and I
It
think
is.
that gets
It is.
overlooked
Yes.
on a bunt a lot
Yeah.
because you just think it's
You gotta
easy, you
practice
just pick
it.
one.
I think what George is saying, you have to practice it. You gotta you got to have a philosophy and get kids to buy into it.
Sure.
So they understand that it's about teamwork.
But when you talk about a suicide, you gotta touch it.
You got to get it down,
It's
man.
basically
That dude is
Okay. When you squeeze and when you hit and run, it's not, oh, I didn't like that pitch.
no.
You got to swing the
if
bat.
you have to jump, you have to touch that
I don't-
ball. It's not
I don't care
optional.
if it's up here. If it's up here, you better
if the
foul it
catcher
off.
can catch it,
Yes.
you got to bunt it.
Yes.
But when we're talking about strategic drag push, especially, maybe if you're leading off an inning and you're going to bunt for a base hit and that kind of stuff, be selective with your pitches.
yes,
Don't,
yes.
especially if you're bunting, you really shouldn't have 2 strikes. So
No.
be selective. Don't
Yes.
settle. And but that comes back to having a plan,
An approach.
and attacking with a goal in mind rather than just bunting and reacting to wherever it goes.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Let me ask you this. I thought this was an interesting part of the strategy. Thoughts on the exact moment to show bunt. So you don't show it so early that the pitcher can do anything about it, and you don't show it so late that you can't get ready for it.
But sometimes you're doing it, you want to show it
You
early
wanna
just to
move
get
it,
it.
so your
to bring
movement.
into
Yes,
the
Well,
so
play.
you can
let's
bring
talk
movement.
about that.
Yes,
Yeah, let's talk
exactly.
about that.
I agree with you.
I watch
George. Yes.
Friedel every inning, really. Every time he's up, he's taking the first pitch. I said, if you're going to take the first pitch, do something to change
Yes.
the defense.
Try to move
Exactly.
your fielders.
So
Yeah.
so you're faking that you're going to bunt just to see if they're aware of that.
Exactly.
And so now, even though it's a strike, it's productive. So now you get a chance to see what they're going to do. So we're going to change. Okay, we got to change the defense. But once he learns how to hit the ball to left side, he's going to be a 300 hitter. He has the ability to win a batting title. But being able to hit the ball through that left side line drive, not many third basemen want to come in.
No.
Yeah,
they sure
Pete was unique in that regard.
Oh yeah.
He would go in there and eat
but
it.
the thing, we go back to the '76 World Series though,
right,
with Mickey
that's what I'm
Rivers.
talking about.
Pete's halfway to home, and I'm saying, Pete, if the ball gets past you, I gotta chase it. But that put pressure on Mickey Rivers. He said, I gotta really be fine tuned where I bunt the ball because he's right on top of me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the balls that Rivers hit down on him, Pete's a guy. He's like a gladiator. He's no hockey player. He's blocking
he's
the
a
ball.
tough.
Yeah.
So one time, I think it was against Philadelphia, Larry Bow or someone who maybe not hit the ball like Mike Smith. Hit the ball, I think it hit off Pete's belt buckle. It carried him to second base, and we ended to go to double play. So Pete, you okay? Yeah.
While we're getting technical with bunting, I was always taught keep the bat head up, and move up and down with your legs. What are your thoughts on that?
Everybody has a different approach. Yours
Well,
might
my
be different
approach,
from mine.
Two things that have to be constant. Keep the barrel higher than the knob.
Okay.
Keep your hands letter high. Anything above that, it's going to. You want to bunt strikes. So I
There
asked
you
a kid,
go.
I said, what is better, sacrifice or a walk? Sacrifice. No. But if a walk, you didn't give up an out. But
Okay.
keep your hands letter high and make sure, like you're saying, the ball's up or down. Down, you want to go with your knees, like in basketball with your knees, but you don't want to drop your hands.
Yes.
Okay.
But another foundation that's very important, I would say a third is constant, is knowing where to bunt the ball.
There you
Knowing
go.
the situation. If a guy's at first base, you're going to bunt the ball to the first baseman. Then I said, okay, a man at second, where you bunt? Is at first base? No. I said, what is the third baseman
Third
doing?
baseman,
You want to
exactly.
bunt to third. So
Yes,
you got to know
'cause his back is
know
turned.
the situations because
Yes.
you can make a good bunt at the wrong time in the wrong place. So a man on second, you bunt the ball to first. Now the first baseman's charging. He can throw the guy
You can
at
throw
third.
a third. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
now,
those are my three constants.
Okay.
one of mine with a bunt, we started off like that, and we noticed this. A lot of kids drop their barrel
Right.
and do this. So guess what? They hit a pop-up. So now we get here. I keep it horizontal. Now I can catch it here and can go that way. So that's another way that, I teach bunting on that end. Because now I don't see a lot of this. Now, guess what? Now we can use our eyes, and then my eyes are closer to the barrel, and then put a knob here, go down third.
Right.
Here, go down first.
But notice his eyes are behind the
it's
back.
behind the back.
Not
exactly.
above, behind the back.
Behind the barrel.
Yeah, I
Yes.
really liked what you had to say. I think it was maybe last week or week before, but bunting when you're in a slump to help you see the ball
George
better.
was-
Oh
yes.
Yeah,
but especially
I like that.
to the opposite field, right-hander to left. I mean, right and left-hand. But you can see letting the ball
Travel.
get deep
Yep.
into
Yes,
the
sir.
zone.
And then, at what point do you start to pay attention? Do you start to think about how hard to bunt the ball? You know, sometimes I've had some coaches say that you're trying to catch it and drop it right in front of the plate. With drag or push, you want a little more movement on it. What do you have any thoughts on
With a push
that?
bunt, you want to. So the push bunt, you're gonna push it. That's
Okay.
what it sounds. That's what it is supposed to be. Push.
Right.
Okay. But like George was saying, really, you just want to catch it. Okay.
Okay.
Remember, it used to be, and sometimes I go back to old stuff where that if you bunt it, you catch it. If I remember, we used to have to put a glove on the bat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And catch it that way. That was
like
an
that.
old school way, but still, it was effective.
Right.
Because then kids don't do it. You catch it and it keeps their eyes.
Yeah, because
tracking
you
the ball.
drop it out of the
Yes,
glove. Okay,
yes,
I get that. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. It's,
Yes,
but it's
there's so
yeah,
many
just-
different ways, man, and we're talking about a lot of different things because you can in hitting. I think we try to make it so much of a microcosm. It what works for that player.
Yeah, you're talking about different kind of mental triggers and that kind of thing.
mental-
Yeah.
yes,
They
yes,
try to make it absolute that this is the way, the
yes,
only way.
exactly.
But I watch these guys. So in batting practice, I want them. Same thing in bunting. You want to have your
Yes.
eyes behind the bat. But as you swing, and Pete Rose is a good example.
Okay.
As he swings, he's watching the bat hit the ball. So his eyes are back here. And being a right-hander, your chin's gonna be on your right shoulder.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of times the chin's on the left shoulder, and they're looking where they want to hit it, but
yes.
they're not looking at the object to
Yes.
hit. And as a batter hitter, after you make contact, look straight over second base. If you don't want to go left or right because you're going to pull off or you're not going to really get through if you're looking to the right field, unless you're going, striving to hit the ball that way. But look over second base, you get full rotation in your swing.
Here's a question I've always wondered. So let's say you're not faking the bunt. You fully intend to bunt. And yet at what point in time you realize, wait a minute, this is not going to be a pitch that I want to bunt. I don't want to waste a strike. I'm going to pull back. Why and when do you make that decision?
Well, it's really when the ball's on its
It's on
way.
its way.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. Like-
exactly.
But you're watching if the guy's a sinker ball pitcher or if he's throwing the ball up. So you got to have focus where do you want the ball to be. If it's not there, let it go. But when you sacrifice, you want
Money
when the
strikes.
pitcher's hands up, right, throwing hand is up in the air. That's when you sacrifice. Everybody know you're going to sacrifice, so it's not a big
Yes,
surprise.
right.
But when you squeeze or bunt for a base hit, wait till the pitcher's wait till his foot lands. I watch his foot land, and then now he can't change.
Right.
Right.
Say
exactly.
for instance, the guy at third base, and it's a squeeze play.
Yeah.
So now the guy goes when his hand's up there. So as a pitcher, what am I going to do? I'm going to hit the guy out at the plate. So now the guy has to go back. I know he hit by a pitch, but they didn't get that run.
Yeah.
But once he lands, it's tough to change direction.
Right. Because this is anything that's a drag bunt or a push bunt, it's supposed to be a surprise.
Right.
So you don't want to sell it. You don't want to
Right.
show it too early.
Right.
Well, I would imagine it's kind of extra.
Or suicide, I
It's
should
kind of
say.
extra embarrassing to have your bat there like you're going to bunt and then to miss it and get a strike. Like
It happens.
went
It
past
happens,
you.
yes.
But
It
still,
happens.
it's the same as in, I use an analogy in tennis. The ones who know about the drop shot. So in tennis itself, it's survival of the fittest. So you make a drop shot and your opponent make the point. And they're like, wow, that wasn't a good drop. The drop shot wasn't good enough, it wasn't effective. But your objective is to make your opponent run.
Yeah.
So if you get the point, that's great. So, but even if you miss it, your objective, you instill in their mind or remind them that I will bunt. I would try to bunt.
So you finished the season last year, exhausted from all the travel and the tournaments, and you tossed your gear in a bag where it's been sitting all winter. Now you're ready for another year, but your favorite glove that fits just right is an error waiting to happen. The leather's dry, the laces are brittle, and this year you're on a new team with new colors, and it sure would be cool if it matched. Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a glove guy who could help you out with that? You do. His name is Ethan, and he owns Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop in Fairfield, Ohio. Just contact him at glovehound.com and upload pictures of your glove. He'll give you a call back to talk it over, and then you can send it in for a repair, relace, recondition, whatever you need. If you're in the area, you can even just stop by the shop. That way you don't have to bother with shipping, and a lot of times he can even fix it while you wait. Rawlings, Wilson, Mizuno, All-Star, Nakona, he's seen them all, and he's helped players at all levels, from beginners to pros. Last year he worked on a glove that Jose Trevino used in the World Series, and he can help you too. You can find Glovehound on Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at glovehound.com. You're only going to get busier, so reach out today and give your glove the love it deserves at Glovehound. Let's talk about the hit and run. So, situations where you might use a hit and run, and what a hitter needs to be able to do in order to successfully pull off a hit and run.
Well, number one is being able to hit the ball on the ground. You want to be able to hit the ball on the ground, and preferably to the right side, but don't really be as specific, but hit the ball on the ground because the runner's in motion. And now that infielder's out of position. So a lot of times they have the second baseman covering second, and you hit the ball to the right side. Other teams try to get tricky, but then again, you got to evaluate the batter because he may not know how, or haven't worked on hitting the ball to the right side. So I said, okay, just hit it back towards the shortstop, because sometimes that shortstop may try to cover, but but put the ball in play on the ground.
Yeah, Rick, can you explain to us from a coach's perspective, when in the game situation would you consider using a hit and run, and how would you set your players up to be able to do that successfully?
And well, there's a lot of different things with this, especially in practice. So teaching kids how to shorten up their swing and hit backside.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that specifically?
Shorten up their swing. That means a lot of kids try to get long in a swing, stay short, drive your knob, let it get deep.
You mean keep the bat close to your body?
Or and stay inside the ball.
Yeah. Or choke up.
Choke up. Yeah.
I have another technical question about hit and run. So hit and run, is the runner pretty much always, you would never delay a run. You're always going to run immediately. You're always going to run immediately as if you're stealing. You're never going to delay in a hit and run, would you?
Right,
okay.
Exactly.
So
I
want you to delay. See, the ball's on its way. It's actually almost that the ball is guys making contact. You're moving.
Okay, so you do wait a little bit.
Right, you wait. Not as when you're stealing, you're stealing. So now
steal.
If he doesn't hit the ball on the ground, there's a chance. You have a chance of getting back, knowing that where the ball is. So your delay, that's why you're doing the hitting run. It's the delay for the runner because you don't want him to get thrown out, and making sure that the guy makes contact.
Okay, so that is different. Because sometimes hit and run can be taken as guy is stealing, so he's going to go on the pitcher's move. But you're saying you need to read the ball down.
Well, it's like
that's a stealing hit then.
But it's that order. it's that order: hit and run.
Okay, yes. I like that. Yes. Yeah. That's another.
And then you
got to
steal and hit.
So now my technical question is about the count. As a coach, because you're gonna be the one that puts that on, especially because you have to coordinate two different people's jobs. Are there certain counts that you do and don't hit and run in?
I guess.
I was going to start that the number one, I hit and run a lot of times because the guy at the plate is too passive. They're taking too many pitches.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that he's swinging the bat, and I said, no matter where the ball, swing the bat because you got to protect the runner. But a good running counts. You have 3-1. You have 2-1. You have 2-0. You have 0-0. You have 1.
That was my thought. Is that you're going to put on a hit and run when the pitcher has to bring a strike.
Yes.
You're not going to hit and run when you're 0-2, 1-2 when he's going to waste a pitch, and then it's going to make you you're asking the batter to hit a pitch that's likely to be less competitive.
swing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That was my question.
Let's talk about times when it's necessary to be able to hit to the opposite field, especially if that's not your normal place where you would put it just by your normal mechanics. If that's not the place where you hit it all the time, or pulling it if that's not the place where you hit all the time. Like, what are the mechanical things that you need to keep in mind and say, well, okay, let me go back. First of all, what are the situations where you're at the plate and you're like, okay, I got to put it over there, I'm right-handed, I got to put it in right center. What do I need to think about in order to make that happen?
Well, number one is knowing what starts in practice.
Yeah.
You can't wait till a game and try to do something that you
Right.
haven't done before.
Yeah.
And
Teamwork.
the main thing is try to hit the ball up the middle and let your bat speed and the location of the pitch going to indicate where the ball is going to go.
There you go.
But some say hit the ball where it's pitched. I don't totally agree because a pitcher throw you inside, you don't want. The reason he tried to want you to pull it to hit a ground ball because you're going to roll over it. So it's keeping they talk about keeping your hands inside, but I want the bat inside so that now you have better control of being able to use the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. So use the middle of the field, you're going to be more successful. And if you want to hit it to right field, it becomes an angle now. You're going to hit it deeper in the hitting zone.
Exactly.
And not out. So a lot of guys, the ball's outside, they try to hit it out in front. They're going to roll over it. So the ball you want to get a ball that's getting deep into the hitting zone and just swing the bat. Don't try to guide it, just swing the bat. It will go that way.
Yeah. Something that you got to get used to doing, I'm sure.
On a tee, go high, middle, low. Low, two seams, change up curveballs, man, and work on trying to drive those to right center or whatever. But that's what a tee is there for. Front toss, live BP. Work on those things. I just had a kid the other day. I was out on the field, so I've been out on the field a while, and we worked on this 2-strike approach. And I told him is that I think I threw him 5, and he hit 2 to right center. The other 3 fouled off. I said, man, that's awesome, man. I said, that's awesome. You fouled him off. I said, you know why? He said, why? Because you kept your bat alive.
Right.
Yeah, you made the pitcher throw one more pitch, man. So now he knows that you can hit that outside pitch. Now hunt the pitch that he gonna throw you. Trust me, he might come middle in for you if you hunting that pitch.
Yeah.
So
but still make sure that you don't let the location change your
swing pattern.
Yeah.
So now the ball is inside. You still try to hit the ball to left center or right field.
Exactly.
A lot of guys, they see a pitch inside and they're going to turn on it. They either pop it up, miss it, or hit the ball foul.
Yes,
this is something that I think is an advanced understanding that a lot of young players don't get until later in their career, which is it's not just inside versus outside. It's also up front versus deep.
Yeah.
Right.
And go ahead.
The thing that really you just connected for me earlier in this episode, George, was getting around to be able to hit an inside pitch backside. That was something that never connected in my head. I know, Rick,
it's called an inside out swing.
Exactly. You had
Well, I'm sorry. I don't call it inside out because it sounds defensive.
It does sound defensive.
Being able to drive that ball.
Yes.
But you had always taught the 3 ball with the hitting zones, and that was revolutionary for me. The middle pitch is right in front of the plate. Inside pitch a little higher or a little
up front,
and then let that late pitch travel deeper and fight it off backside. That makes a lot of sense because the natural swing. It works with the angle of your bat, okay?
It creates a triangle
exactly
from that inside to the outside part of the plate.
And so I had always for whatever reason, it was just one of those things that floated around in my head is how do you hit that inside pitch backside? And you just get around on it.
Yeah.
It's like hitting an inside pitch, but leaving your bat in the zone, keeping your hands in and flicking it the other way. That makes so much more sense. And I think
you're leading with the knob, you're going there, and then you
you get to the point that now the barrel.
And so,
Yes.
for a power hitter who has such a pull mindset that they're going to try to pull everything, in a way, you are pulling the outside pitch, but by leaving your bat in the zone, you're pulling your hands and keeping them inside, but you're going to flick it backside, and that does a lot of damage.
George said something that was, I want to circle back around, which is we need to highlight. And I don't think he understood what he said, but he said keeping your shoulder on your front, when your shoulder here, but when you finish your swing, your chin's gonna be on your back shoulder. Okay, so guess what? Your head's gonna be behind the barrel. Behind the ball in the barrel, and then when you finish, you can actually do a drill where you can actually look down the bat and see extension. Okay, now that's going to help you keep your head still and finish your swing.
Keep your eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that because as somebody who struggled pulling his head from the moment he picked up a bat to the moment he was done, man, that could have, I think that could have really provided some help. Was keeping it on that keeping it on that back shoulder as you
Yes, and
swing.
another thing George said too, which I greatly. It's a mindset, man. The more you do things, the more consistent you become. It becomes a habit. It becomes muscle memory, and then you go up to the plate with confidence. You've got an approach. It's not.
I got to hit it. Got to put it in play.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you have that fear. If you have fear in striking out, you're going to strike out.
You're going to strike
or you're going to hit the ball very weakly. But I was a better hitter with 2 strikes because now I'm really fine-tuning. Sometimes when I have like 3 or 1 or so that, I'm trying to swing out of my shoes and thinking I'm playing at Yellowstone to hit it out. but when I hit those 52 home runs, not bragging, the 10 of those 52, I hit the right center. Oh, those, because I know I let the ball get deep and drove it to right center. But if I hit a ball down the left field line, home run, but it's hooking, I know I'm too quick.
I'll tell you when I learned about out front, in front of me and behind me, early and deep in the zone, because I didn't have any of this fancy like private teacher stuff and whatever. I was just.
Did you have a tee?
No, I never owned a tee. No, I was just a redneck kid in Ohio, man. We were playing down by the river. We had
there was no tees.
The only tee you had was in a pitcher in the fridge.
But we had a David Bailey's, and I will never forget. Shout out to David if he ever happens to listen to this. But David Bailey's was he was a year ahead of me in school, but he was young for his grades. So sometimes we would play in the same year, in the same league. And Dave was big, tall kid. We were 12, but he was tall as an adult. But I mean, he was the hardest throwing kid we had. But he was left-handed, but he threw hard, and every kid was scared of it. And so I went up there, and I just remember and I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this. And I learned that if I started my swing when he was at the top of his delivery before he ever let go of the ball,
release point,
I had a chance because my swing was a lot slower than than what he was throwing. And I did it. I hit it. I made connection because the other thing about him was he was incredibly consistent. The kid threw strikes all the time. He was the best strike throwing pitcher I ever saw in my life. You had no fear that he was going to hit you. You had no fear because he was just going to put it right down the plate every time, and he was just going to groove it, and most kids just couldn't hit it because he was throwing hard. So I learned if I started way early, I had a shot, and I hit him a couple of times. And there were a couple of times when I thought I started early enough, but I didn't. But I still hit him, but it went over here for some reason.
Okay.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe it's about when you start your swing. And so in my low tech understanding of baseball, it was how quickly or later I started my swing based on whether I wanted it to go to left or right field. It was a cursory understanding of what you guys can describe in much more detail. Sure. But for young players out there who've never really thought about it, sometimes it's just as simple as I got to meet the ball out in front of me or meet the ball a little deeper, closer to the catcher. And when I do, that's going to determine largely where it goes.
But from what I'm hearing, that concept falls a little bit short to try to pull an outside pitch. Do we ever want to pull an outside pitch? I know you had mentioned you end up rolling it over.
Well, you got to find that you're going to have enough bat speed to pull it, but not on pulling is the left center.
Right.
Being a right-hander,
Yes.
it's the left center, not down the line.
Right.
A lot of guys try to pull it down, hit it down the line, it's going to go foul, but to left center, and that way that you're not your lower body is not pulling off.
Right.
So to fine tune a little bit more. So now your lower body, when you go back to get set to load, your lower body's turning, rotating,
Right.
but your upper body stays linear. A lot of guys, they're rotating their upper body, so they lose sight of the ball.
Okay.
So
'Cause your head
now their
pulls off.
swing is longer because your hands are back there.
Yes.
And by the time they get back into the hitting zone, the ball's on top of them. They say, wow, that guy's throwing hard. But he's not throwing hard. You're getting ready late.
Yes.
So
yes.
now going forward, you see a lot of guys rotating their lower body. You got to keep the lower body linear and rotate the upper body.
I see this. I hear. I
A lot of
Georgia
guys,
spot on, man.
but they go rotational with your lower body going forward, and they stay linear with the upper body, so they're running into the ball.
Yes.
So that they're getting jammed. But you got to rotate your upper body as you're going forward.
But again,
That's being connected.
right. Yeah. Well, working in synchronization.
Yes.
But again,
Synchronization, get the rhythm. Yeah.
but you ran right over something. Pulling the ball, you said to left center.
Yes.
Not down the line. I think that's
Gap the gap.
Yeah, I think people miss that.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
a
they
lot
do.
of times
Right.
pulling means left field, anywhere
Down
in
the
left
line,
field.
yeah.
But when you talk about margin of error, if
Right.
you're aiming somewhere in the middle, then down the line it becomes your kind
You
of
stay on it longer.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I love
this
that.
terminology. I would say about 10 years ago. I don't know. I always talk to everybody, George
You?
or
You
whatever.
talk to people?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard
Yakety
this.
yak,
It
don't
says,
come
hey,
back.
pull the foul lines in.
Yeah.
Over the shortstop, over the second baseman's head. Now you have to use gap to gap terminology
good
to
target.
see
I like
here.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ethan is more than my podcast partner. He's my son. And like every baseball parent, my first priority was his development as a player. Every year, we'd start out with a new coach and a new team, making new promises, only to end up playing the same old tournaments with little to no practice in between. You know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so thankful that we found MD&I Academy. I first met Coach Rick over a decade ago when Ethan was just a kid, and I'll never forget the relief I felt watching his first lesson. I knew right then that no matter what team he played for, my son would have amazing, consistent instruction from someone who cared. Rick has trained baseball and softball players at the select, travel, and even college levels, so I knew that Ethan could continue his excellence through training approach for his whole baseball career. He learned hitting, pitching, catching, fielding, and more all in one place. Most of all, he learned to love the greatest game in the world and how to play it with character and integrity. So if you're wearing yourself out, running all over town to multiple teachers, or worse, you're counting on that new select coach to actually develop your child, you need to check out MD&I Academy today. Go to mdaiacademy.com and contact Coach Rick to learn how you can get all the baseball instruction you need from someone who cares about your favorite player as much as you do at MD&I Academy. So let's jump forward here. I want to discuss WOBA and ex-WOBA here real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a stat that's up and coming.
It's here, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you won't find it on Baseball Reference. You got to go to like Baseball Savant or one of these other more advanced stat platforms to find it. But it's called WOBA, and there's also one called XWOBA. Ethan, you want to run us down and explain the two and what the difference means?
Yeah. So WOBA is weighted on base average, and so basically
Weighted as WEIGHT, not
Yes.
WAITED.
Yes. No. Exactly. Yeah. And so the complaint is that in batting average that a base hit is the same value as a home run because they're both hits. That there's in batting average there's no discrepancy there. And so the idea is if each hit produces a different percentage chance to gain a run, let's reflect that in a stat. And so it gives a different weight to each to singles, doubles, triples, and that kind of thing. and then divides that over opportunities. So it can get kind of confusing, and the really confusing part is that it's going to be different every year. The weight that's attributed to that stat is going to be different. And so it's not something, it's kind of one of those MLB exclusive stats. There is some for college, but it's not one that directly translates to the youth level. And then xWOBA is expected. So this is where you've got all of the StatCast stuff, measuring somebody's swing, and then taking those characteristics, launch angle, exit velocity, where it's hit, all that kind of stuff, and saying, well, based on the swing, this should be the outcome. Okay.
Or could be the outcome.
Or could be. But what that doesn't take into account, because it can't, is fielder positioning, wind, all that kind of stuff that then affects the ball after it's been hit. And so what that can cause is players who are lucky or players who are unlucky, and the difference in what they're expected to do versus what actually happens. And so the utility of that becomes, well, let's look at players who are making really good contact, but maybe getting unlucky or hitting it right to somebody, expecting that eventually enough hard hits will make them, their production will start to catch up to that quality of contact.
And then why measure the difference?
Well, it's like I just said. So, for example, you've got a guy like Salvador Perez or Ben Rice this year who are making a lot of solid contact. Okay?
Indeed.
So, like a guy like Ben Rice, his xWOBA is 407, and his WOBA is 354.
Whoa.
Which is a difference of 0.053, which means he's hitting the ball really well. It expected he should be producing a lot of runs, but he's not, which means he must be hitting it to people or getting unlucky.
Okay.
Salvador Perez is another guy. The opposite of that is a guy like Harrison Bader or Jacob Wilson, guys who are hitting or who are getting luckier. So they're maybe they're making weaker contact, and it says, well, maybe they shouldn't be producing very well, but they are. And I think with a guy like Jacob Wilson, if you know anything about him, he just makes a lot of contact.
Yeah, he does.
And sometimes that's weak contact. And so this is a stat that doesn't
Really show up.
If he's hitting bloops that are singles,
Right.
He's on base.
Right.
But this stat kind of counts against him in that way. So you just, there should be a grain of salt with every stat that you read. And just understand it doesn't tell a full story. It can't.
I think that exit velocity, it brings into play if the ball is hit hard or not hit hard. But someone talked about launch angle and said, yeah, everybody has a launch angle. So, but find out what that guy's launch angle is so that when he's not hitting well, because you already measured it. So it's like you're trying on a pair of shoes. You don't know what size. So you have it in you have that launch angle. So you go back and fit it again. So see how far you're off. But back to hitting the ball at somebody, or it's changing the angle. It's getting into physics now. Change the angle of your bat going through the zone. Because sometimes that the barrel is too far out, and just keep it back a little bit more. Now that instead of hooking it a little bit, you're going to hit it more on a straight line.
One thing I noticed about looking at these stats, when I start sorting current players by these stats, using and I'm on Baseball Savant right now, sorting them, it tends to be kinder to the power hitters than things like average and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it will be because they're making harder contact. You know, in order to hit the ball far, you got to hit it hard. So, and launch angle. So it really does cater, and it's expecting those to be. It's taking that hard hit and that launch angle and saying, well, this should be a good hit. Well, different ballparks are different sizes, and so if you're hitting the ball hard and far to a deep part of the ballpark, you're not going to do much.
Except Sacramento.
What about errors? Does it take into account errors?
Yeah, I assume it doesn't in some regard. But you're right. When we talk about causing chaos, you know, there can be value to that. And I think that would be
it's hard to measure chaos.
Yeah, so that would be a part where you're getting lucky.
Mayhem.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes when you take these current stats, though, and you go back and you apply them to older careers, what do you find?
Yeah, so this was interesting. So
vintage,
with how
not older, vintage.
Classic,
yeah.
With how with how kind of tailored these stats are getting, not every stat hub even agrees on it. So you have B WAR, F WAR, that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to expected stats, you can't have that. StatCast era started in 2015, where that technology was outfitted to every ballpark. Right. So we don't really have that data going backwards. But what I found interesting, Baseball Reference has their version of WOBA, and it's called ROBA, and theirs measures a player's total offensive contribution based on the batting component of WAR scaled to OBP. Now, I don't really know what scaled to OBP means, but it's basically Baseball Reference's version of WOBA. Now, what was interesting, so in 1977, when George won MVP, he pretty much just hit everything.
Yes,
and so obviously
hard.
So he led the league in ROBA at 441. But did you also know that you led the league in ROBA in 1979? Obviously, you didn't know that because it didn't exist.
They didn't even
then.
have it then.
Yeah. But that was a year that you had finished 12th in the MVP race. But according to that calculation, you were a very productive hitter in 79. So I would be curious, does anything stick out about your 79 season that screams production that maybe your home runs or your RBIs or your batting average doesn't tell that story?
Well, I look at the ratio of home runs to RBIs. I think my ratio was, if you have 1 to 3 or better, that's hitting in clutch situation.
Okay.
So I think I had 30
home runs.
30 home runs and 98 RBIs.
98
so
RBIs.
now
That's pretty good.
So, but then in 77, I had, it was a little bit, I was like 7 RBIs under that 1/3. Mm-hmm. So 52 and 149.
Right. Okay.
So I look at that ratio because I look at everybody's ratio. I said, oh, this guy has 30 home runs. You should have at least 90 RBIs or more. Mm-hmm. And that tells me that he's hitting home runs and with being on base, not just solos.
Did we just invent GOBA?
GOBA, George
on base average?
GOBA.
But I like that. I like that rule, that 1/3 rule you have, because then in 79 you were 30 RBIs, or 79 you were 30 RBIs to 98. 30 home runs to 98 RBIs.
How many doubles did you have?
I don't count doubles.
18.
18?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay.
I stopped that second. Drive me in.
And then in 1980, you were 25 home runs to 93 RBIs. So you're way over your 1/3 there.
Yeah.
And then in 81, you had another very good season. You were 22 home runs
and
to 90 RBIs.
Oh,
that's
with
pretty good.
23 doubles.
Wow. Did I get faster or what?
I don't think so.
He was on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. You did have 4 stolen bases, which you had none in 79 and 1 in 80. So yes, you did.
No, but go back to some year when I had 17. I had 17 stolen bases, and I didn't have to slide. I stole those bases standing up.
Remember what you said about no footage? You know,
no. What happened? No footage. But what happened was they were trying to get Joe at third, so I just walked in the second.
That's funny. That's funny.
But anyway, I thought that was an interesting way to try to retrofit some of those stats and go.
I didn't know that.
Well, and it's also interesting because, like Rick has said many times, the game is still played the way the game has been played. Yeah. We're measuring it differently, and even though we would measure this with all these decimal points and different things like this now, just like George was saying a minute ago, they had a way to measure this stuff when he was playing. It just was different. It was okay, I'm looking at this as a ratio of home runs to RBI.
Batting average, runs batted in, runs scored, and now they're getting really more technical. But I think they should start putting more emphasis on what you measure.
Yeah.
Right. Like say getting the guy over from second base or situational hitting.
Well,
Milwaukee talks about that.
I just seen it the other.
Yeah, but there was another team talk about situational hitting, but the indicative why they're in first place, why they're winning, and being able to match your win.
Or was it the Blue Jays?
Maybe the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Oh,
two,
those guys.
I remember seeing.
Yeah,
but the biggest thing the thing that we've talked about from day one is situational play overall.
Yes.
But to look back at these stats, from so long ago, we're looking at what you did, not what the situation called for in each at bat.
And
So you don't have the same goal every time you walk up to the plate because
It's a different situation.
well, in my case, I had different tools to be able to drive the ball out of the ballpark or drive, but I knew to use the middle of the field. So the things that I was doing, it added up to that situational hitting. And I knowing that, okay, I got 2 strikes, I got to cut down my swing, really drive the ball up the middle, and it will go to right field.
Yes.
But
or out of the ballpark.
But it's about trying to do different things at different times, and when you focus too much on that X part of the X woba, and I think when you focus too much on the exit velocity and the launch angle, I think those are great tools to measure what you're doing.
It's controversial. It's something
It
to
is.
talk
It is.
about.
But when it comes to being a hitter with options, when you try to take that player who can hit the ball hard with a certain angle, but only a certain percentage of the time, and put him in that clutch situation, the performance it's going to vary a little bit. Whereas when you have the tools to do more,
Yes.
specific tasks like you talk about, you can then utilize those different tools in your overall strategy to win games.
Right.
Yes.
The other one is that the batters, I would say batters because they get too particular up there. They want everything room service, so to speak.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I teach kids to widen their strike zone. So now what balls can you hit
Expand.
in your hitting zone, become a
Yes.
hitting zone. So it doesn't have to be down the middle or on the corners. If you're able to make contact, work on that. I saw a guy who swing at a pitch that's above his chest. He hits it. He can hit it. So some coaches say, "Come on, swing at strikes." I said, "No, get the ball in your hitting zone." So in batting practice, I said, "You can hit that."
Yeah.
Oh no, more so. I said, "Can you hit that?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "You can't hit it unless you try." So being able to drive the ball, I thought on purpose with a right-hander that line the batter's box line in towards them, I throw the ball there. And if you're able to hit that, it's going to be easier the ball that's on the plate.
It is.
Because the umpires sometimes will call that pitch.
Yes,
So prepare
yes.
yourself for it.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I want to kind of bring this to kind of show young players through this discussion is that, as you go and you study privately, you go to these different facilities, and some of them will have things like hit tracks and
Right.
Yeah.
some of these really advanced stat measuring things. Those are great tools to use.
Yes,
Use
they
those tools. That's good. In the end, having all that knowledge only helps you if you have the skills and the ability to do the things that need to be done when you get up there. If you are a hitter with options. If you're not a hitter with options, you're a hitter with a lot of bad news is what you are. You got a lot of stats running through your head, but they're not telling you what you want to know, because what you want to know is that in a situation you can be counted on to get the job done and move the runner. Level swing. Let it travel. Wait for your pitch. Be aggressive out there. It's no wonder young players get confused at the plate. What if your son or daughter could learn not only how to hit the ball, but also where to hit it, when to hit it there, and why? George Foster has played baseball at the very highest levels. He was the National League MVP when he hit 52 home runs and 149 RBIs in a single season. He led the major leagues in home runs twice and RBIs 3 times. He was a 5-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, and he helped the Reds win back-to-back World Series. During his 15-year career, George developed a unique approach to hitting that made him one of the greatest hitters of all time, and now your favorite player can learn it too. That's right, baseball legend George Foster is currently accepting new students. Learn the psychology of hitting, situational hitting, hitting for power, bunting, and more. Every team needs players who can hit, and George explains the game in a way that's easy to understand and exciting to learn. So check out GeorgeFosterBaseball.com to learn how you can apply for private lessons with a member of the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Spots are limited, and the roster will fill up fast, so don't wait. Apply at GeorgeFosterBaseball.com. Transitioning to more of a skills and drills kind of situation, and we've done this kind of throughout. You guys have been very helpful with the specifics. What I want to look at here is, have we left anything on the table? Is there anything that we say, man, kids, here's a drill, here's something you can do, here's a way to practice this, here's a way to sort of get this in your head so that you can learn these skills of bunting, hitting it to one side or the other, being able to be effective in a hit and run, be effective in a squeeze, these kinds of things.
I have two, if you don't mind. Number one, we've already mentioned before, is hitting fungo. Because that is something
Self-toss.
that is something that
Yes.
I'm not good at.
I do.
And there's no excuse for that. And had I practiced that more through growing up, it would have then been easier to take that skill and have that translate to being at the plate. It would have given me a lot of confidence.
I do that a lot.
Back control.
The second one is pepper.
Yes.
That was
What's pepper? Where's the salt? Is it a condiment? What?
I want to hear.
understand.
Let me hear what you have to say about pepper, because
Pepper's
that
important.
was not a thing when I was growing up.
And people
give
don't
an
use
explanation
it really anymore.
Not at all.
Where that you feel, throw it back to the guy shorten up, boom,
Yeah, exactly.
try to put it on the ground. You feel it. Throw it back.
If you watch any major leaguer from, I don't know, the 60s to probably the 90s, talk about youth baseball, they always say pepper. And I had to look up the rules because I didn't
did
know
you
what.
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was huge when I was a kid.
And so
yeah.
all it is it's a couple fielders stand in
Yes,
a line
1, 2,
and they
3.
lob
Yes.
it. They
Yep,
lob
they
it
lob
to a
it.
guy with a bat who makes soft contact
Yep.
back to the player to then field it.
Yep.
It's so simple.
Yeah, he doesn't catch it. He puts it back out.
Exactly.
With
Yes.
the
He
bat.
catches it with the bat.
With the bat,
It's so
yes.
simple for everybody involved. And that was not a thing when I was growing up.
I'll never forget the episode of the Baseball Bunch. He had Mike Schmidt on the base.
Yes.
Johnny had Mike Schmidt on the Baseball
That's
Bunch.
the video I'm talking about.
Yeah,
too.
and Mike Schmidt was like, "Here's how you play pepper," and we watched him.
And he
teach people how to play
talks about how they still played at the major league level
Yeah,
every day,
absolutely.
and so that was something that just wasn't. It was not a part of my childhood that could have helped a lot. So those two right there, and those two things are focusing on
those
bat
are
control
excellent.
and directional
But
hitting.
with the pepper, it not only helps with the offense, but defense too. So you
Yes,
got to
it
be
do.
fielding the ball.
Get to field
But
it.
yeah, pepper's great because you say you have 3 guys there, you want to be able to hit one to each guy, not to the same guy all the time. So you help with your bat control.
I think what's happening, we're getting so far, and I listen to what Ethan says a lot to all you guys, but everything, we get so far away. We make baseball where that it's supposed to be.
Try to reinvent the wheel.
Yes, exactly.
But try to
but
polish
keep
it so much.
simple.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the day they feel as though that, oh man, we got this technology, we've got these bats, we have to do all of this other stuff. Like, man, just keep it simple,
Right.
man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, we do have hit tracks. You do have better pitching machines now, but you still have to throw a baseball. You still have to hit. You still have to do the things that make baseball, man.
Yeah, well, like pepper, you look at, or fungal, what's the purpose? What are you getting out of that?
Yes.
And I just, when Ethan had said that, I said, yeah, because like in working with the kids soft toss, I have them to soft toss. So that now
Yes,
they can
yes.
start
Self-talk.
feeling
I do
themselves.
the same thing.
Right,
Yes.
being able to judge it. Because in the
Yes.
beginning, it's like,
They'll swing up here
way
first,
up
won't they?
there or way down here
Yes.
or throw it way over there. But the ones who, once I talked about earlier about analogous. So tennis is with the tennis serve, so you're tossing the ball up. So there are a lot of analogies that are there. But
Yes,
I
it
have
is.
kids who play baseball to play tennis or play golf. And they said the golf swing messed up the baseball swing. I said, no, because a lot of guys who are happy feet, in golf, you don't move your feet. You got to be able to use that rotation
Yeah.
when you're hitting the ball.
Sure do.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, it was called amusing yourself. So it was like,
Yeah, go out and amuse yourself.
Mom was like, I don't know what you're going to do today, but you are not going to sit under my
Hit
feet. Get out and go
rocks.
do something.
Yeah.
And we found a stick
you
and went and hit rocks.
Hit rocks.
In the country, you get
Yep,
these
hit
nice
rocks with a
rocks and
stick.
Oh, man.
make your own bat.
We used
Yes.
to just get a broomstick
Yeah,
or
a broomstick.
whatever and hit rocks. And
But
that's,
duct tape, we didn't know.
Yep.
We didn't know the name of it, but we got a
Yep.
lot of this yellow tape. We made
we walled them up and make a little ball.
Yep,
Yeah,
sure did,
we
man.
had we got in trouble one time. We found a broomstick, and we had heard about the kids next door. We had heard about people
your
playing
new
stick
broom.
ball, right? And we were like, stick ball. What? And we just thought that meant that you were using a broomstick instead of a bat. We didn't know any different. So we thought, okay, we'll just take this broomstick. But he didn't have any grip on it. And
Right.
the neighbor kid, his dad, well, both of our dads worked in factories. My dad was an electrician. His dad was worked at Delco. And but in his garage, he had a whole bunch of these rolls of electrical tape, and they were all different colors.
Yes.
Oh, we got creative.
Yes.
We had that handle, had every color on it all the
Yeah,
way down.
that's
We
what-
used up, he was so hopping mad. We used all of his electrical tape to decorate our stickball bat. But
That's a purpose.
the thing about hitting rocks, and I will say this, there's so many people are cringing right now when I talk about hitting rocks. The reason
Not rock
On a
bottom.
field.
hitting
on a
rocks
field.
was cool because if you're out in the middle of a field, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
And rocks are not white; they're gray. They're hard to see.
And they're smaller.
They're
they're
smaller.
smaller.
They're a little bitty thing, and so you got to really concentrate on where that rock is
Exactly.
and see that stick hit that rock. I mean, we spent a lot of time doing that.
Another good one just for backyard is bottle caps.
Yep.
My buddy and I, we would do ping pong baseball in the house,
Okay.
and with a ping pong paddle.
Yeah.
But depending on how you flick the ping pong ball, you can make it spin a lot because it's very light, so that air.
Or playing ping pong.
Yes.
Or playing ping pong,
Yeah.
yeah. But Gatorade caps are excellent for bottle cap
okay.
baseball, and so you can get them to slide and move in different ways. And in Latin countries, they have one called Vitia. I'm probably butchering that, but they actually have. There's a dedicated plastic simulated cap to simulate the
Yes.
ones that they use.
It
But
is.
from what I remember, it was based on a laundry soap container that was very common, and that one made the best Vitia ball or Vitia cap, I
cap,
guess.
right.
But very common down there, and in Japan even they have a variation of a bottle cap type game where. Just because it's similar to wiffle ball, you're able to simulate such
and
dramatic
move,
movements.
yes.
But yeah, everybody drinks Gatorade, man. Gatorade, Powerade.
Now because
Flicking at each other.
got to get the top, you know.
I have this this PVC pipe. It's about 30 inches long, and I have these little golf balls.
Yeah.
So every now and then I'll throw the kids. So I got this one kid. He gets everything. I was like, we're gonna switch it up today, man. My bag of golf balls. I throw it to him, man. He'll swing. I said, have you ever did this before? It's like, nope.
But we want to make sure it's not a real golf ball, right?
No.
Okay.
The little
It's a
plastic
one.
plastic.
Because I don't want
wiffle
these
golf
kids
balls.
using real golf balls.
Oh man! Whoa!
Setting distance records. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, hey, George, I seen you on the golf course, man.
But yeah, I mean, any type of thing
Small
for that.
object.
But when
Hand
you,
and eye, yeah.
also some of the things, let's just kind of recap some of the things we've talked about. Some of the things you talked about were with the tee work, doing it high, doing it low, doing it in the middle, doing it out, doing it in the middle, doing it up close to yourself. Get a feel for the three dimensions of the zone of
the
hitting,
zone you hit
and
in,
where you might want to be looking for those balls to put them where you want
I
them
like
to go.
that dimension.
Yeah.
You know, think of it as a cube or a box,
Yeah, a box.
rather than just inside or outside. You know, there's also up. There's also a corner out here and a corner in here. There's also, you know, so how does all that play in?
So
to
the
where,
rectangle
you
meets
know,
the triangle. Do you have a
There you go.
pentagon?
And giving a thought to angles as well.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've heard that George, you said several times,
Several.
on the ground.
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
the ball on the ground. Now, what's the difference between an effective hit on the ground and, oh, crud, I hit it and it's a dribbler and they're just going to throw me out?
Well, effective one, you're able to get it through the infield, but I guess the defective one, the guy can advance.
Right.
The runner can advance. So but
what are the mechanical considerations of, I want to hit this ball on the ground. What do I have to do to make that happen effectively?
it changes the part of the ball that you hit. So I dictate or recommend hitting the back of the ball when you're driving it. So hit the top of the ball
Yep, hit
when
the
you want
top.
to hit the ball on the ground. So you, in a sense, you're getting top spin, but you hit it. You're
But you
guaranteed, just like in bunting.
Right.
You want
Exactly.
to bunt the top of the ball so your ball's going on the ground.
Exactly.
So, but a lot of guys, if you get a ball that can hit it solidly, but it may be a line drive right to somebody. But being able to hit the ball on the ground, being able to move that runner over, especially a guy at third base. And I don't care if the infield in or not, you got to. Well, it's a different perspective too. When you're at third base and they want you to go on a ground ball, look right in front of home plate. You can tell if that ball's going to be in the air or on the ground. From the time it's hit from there, you take off, you're going to be safe. A lot of the guys wait until the ball is almost past the pitcher and go. It's too late. But like I say, the effective way is being able to hit the ball on the ground and advance that runner.
What pitch are you looking or pitches are you looking for in order to be able to do that effectively?
Well, it's getting into I would get closer to the plate, knowing that you want to make sure that you can cover the outside effectively and not say stand away. Now they throw a strike outside.
And you ain't
So
gonna
you
be able to
don't be particular, but you want to be able to be in control. And I would, like Rick had said, shorten your swing or choke up on the bat and making sure you focus on hitting the top of the ball.
Yeah.
And that now a ball that's over your head, it's not hittable unless, of course, you. But back to one guy would hit and run with a guy at third. Jim Fry with the Cubs would hit and run with a guy at third base. It was effective at times because the guy's in motion. But like I say, hitting the ball on the ground, choke up, doing certain things. But the number one thing is get on top of the plate.
I like that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys have had a good time listening to this conversation. I know I have. I've learned a ton of stuff today.
That was dense.
Me too. That
was.
Ethan kid, he's erudite today.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully you all have enjoyed that. And through the magic of editing, we'll put all this in the right order to make it. Oh,
We got to
gosh.
assimilate so you can emulate.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us again today for another discussion on the podcast. We're talking about, again, offensive objectives. Today we're talking about moving runners. We talked about what it takes to move them from one place to another, how to be a hitter with options, how to be able to do things effectively like bunt and hit and run, how to be able to decide if I want to hit it to the left side or the right side, or how to capitalize on whether the fielders are playing in or the fielders are playing out, or maybe how to show bunt to get them to move in or move out, or what you're doing. So lots of different ideas there. The idea of moving beyond, I'm going to go up there and swing and hope that something good happens. We start out that way when we're young players, but at some point in time we have to graduate to the more mature understanding of I'm going to go up there and make something specific happen, and that's about maturing as a player. And those are always things that take a lot of practice and a lot of work. These guys have said over and over and over again, don't try and do it in a game if you haven't done it a gazillion times in practice. That's very important. Coaches, running practices. We've talked about moving runners. It's always easier to practice moving runners if there are runners on. Again, we encourage you, if you're doing batting practice, put runners on base and make them run. Make the fielders have to make decisions, and then let your batters hit into those situations where they're bunting, trying to move somebody, or hit and run, trying to move somebody, that kind of thing, so that the players are making those decisions, and hitters can see what it means to create that chaos and what it means to create that opportunity, and give the other team an opportunity to join you and help you out with an error, those kinds of things. So we encourage you to test out those kinds of ideas. Also, there are going to be more stats and there are going to be more things that we're learning going forward. Baseball is getting more scientific, but the bottom line is still being able to pull that off and utilize those skills to help the team and to do what it is that the team needs. A lot of times, even if that means you're working against maybe your own statistical success, you're working toward the success of the team. You need to get a sacrifice. You need to give yourself up in order to get somebody to move. That's okay if it's what the team needs in order for the team to succeed. So just some different ideas that we've brought up today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We encourage you to join us again next week when we tackle part 3 of this situation, where we're going to talk about scoring runners, how to get them in. You're going from second and third, how to get them across that plate and make those runs happen. So join us again next week. We appreciate it. In the meantime, go check out all the different places that you can find the podcast. You can find it on MD&Iacademy.com, GeorgeFosterBaseball.com, Glovehound.com, CompleteGamePodcast.com, and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. Until then, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you. We hope you've enjoyed the Complete Game Podcast, the show that's all about baseball. New episodes drop each week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. If you'd like to support the podcast, consider leaving us a 5-star rating, or better yet, drop us a comment or a question and let us know what you think. The Complete Game Podcast is produced and distributed by 2 Creative Digital Marketing. Check us out at 2creativedigital.com. On behalf of Ethan, Coach Rick, and the Silver Slugger George Foster, I'm Greg Dungan saying have a great week, and we'll see you real soon.